boys and girls, how are we doing today? You alright? On this glorious 5th of March? I didn't see you there. Right then, today on my second weekly blog, I thought I could just run through some of the items that I've managed to collect over the last few months. Some of them are trains, some of them are trains, some of them are trains. There's one or two other things as well. So, we'll start with this one. This is a lovely unit here, the British Rail. You can see the British Rail emblem there. Lovely detail there on the roof there. Can you see little air vents and even the circular engine cooling bit there. Little horns on the front, very nicely done. And this is unit D7093. Very nicely detailed. I got that from the model shopping mall here where I live. This is another nice one I got from the same shop. It's a lot heavier. This is an electric overhead connecting system, OCS, and there's your pantograph there, little pantograph that goes up like that and it makes contact with the overhead wires. Look at that. Just look at that detail on there, all the little generators and transistors and yeah. In there you've got the turn it round. In there you've got all the electric motors in there, and this pantograph makes contact with the lines overhead, and basically speaking the electricity goes down here along these things here and down into the engine bit there, and that drives the trains. Very heavy. It's only a model. It doesn't. Oh, it's coming apart. It's only a model. It runs via electricity on the model track. It doesn't actually make contact with overhead wires, but in real life that would. That's just for show. I think that's come off before. I just need to click that back on. But yes, it's British Rail one again there. Got that from the same shop, the model shopping mall. Now this is a real beauty. This is about 40 years old. Is this one? This is an old DMU unit. They can either go by themselves, or you can I've seen these run by themselves, or you can join them up with 2, 4, 6, whatever. But I know these can run by themselves, and they can go in both directions as well. But driver's cab at both ends, so they have the capability of running in both directions without having to turn around. Yeah, beautifully detailed again. In fact, this is one of the nicest trains I've got. The old British Rail emblem there, and absolutely beautifully done inside through the windows. You can see the beige chairs inside there, and even in the driver's cab there's little tiny console controls. I probably won't be able to pick it up on that, but I can see them. Little tiny red dots and buttons and things. Yeah. Do you know, I love these trains. They've got character. In particular, that type. I remember riding on those loads of times as a child. You're lucky to get a seat on those actually, because they can only run, because they can only put one on. They often did only put 1 or 2 on, and they're absolutely crammed full. I think they use the minimum amount they need to get away. And if you got on one, and it was school coming home time. Right, we're going over to a more modern one here. This is done in Merseyside livery colour, the old yellow, bright yellow. This is a more modern train. It's a working model again. It's not as heavy. It's a later one. It's done in beautiful bright yellow there. Almost as bright as the t-shirt I'm wearing. It's not quite as detailed. The roof is a bit more blonder, and inside the chairs look a bit more plasticky, and there's nothing in the driver's cab. There's no little console with little dots and little buttons on it. It's not as detailed, but again, it's a good model. You know, it's a nice train. Now, this is a nice one. Ta-da! It's a Victoria. Do you know where that's from? Yes, Underground Ernie. Oh, I love Underground Ernie, don't you? Underground Ernie, Chuggington. Oh, I love them. Now this, I love this train because although the windows are blacked out there, can you see they're just painted in grey? So there's no real detail there. The face is done pretty nicely. That's Victoria's face. Like I say, it's from Underground, the series, children's series Underground Ernie. It's a 2-unit train. The other side, that's the face end, that's the back end. That's just got like 2 little blanked out windows in the back. And the middle bit, I love the middle bit. You see that? It works off magnetism. There's little magnets in these little dot things here, and they stick like that. And look, they slide from side to side, as well as the bit in the middle. You know, just like they would on a real train. Well, these bits won't do that on a real train, but these bits do that on a real train, don't they? Go from side to side. So when she goes around curves, there you go. Oh, I love that. That's the nicest bit on this train. It's very ingenious how we designed that. Right, moving further along now. Ah, nearly forgot this one. This is one that I got off eBay, like the Victoria train I've just shown you. I got that off eBay. And as you can see, I'm trying to keep it straight. It's actually, trying to sort of show you how it all joins together. That it's actually an old Matchbox. I think it's 1976. It's got it written on the underside here. What does it say? I know it's got the date printed on 19. I beg your pardon. I'm 2 years out. 1978. 1978 Matchbox train that. And if I pull the engine off the front, so I'll let you just have a quick look at that. And the clipper. No, there's the engine. Isn't she nice and dainty? I'll just join her back up. She's got 4 carriages. Now I don't let the kids play with this. It's a collector's piece. It's from 1978. It's Matchbox, and there 4 carriages and an engine. I don't want that stamping on and breaking and throwing across the room, and Gustav, my dog, chewing it to shreds. So I keep that with all the other trains in my display cabinet in the living room. Now moving on over here, we've got some very interesting items here. Does anybody know what that is? I've got another one here, slightly different colour. Yeah, the fuses. Yeah, you're right. Do you know where they're from? What would we put these in? Guess? No? Any ideas? To do with trains? Hehe! It's the London Underground. They're old London Underground fuses, and they are genuine. Believe it or not, these are genuine fuses. I've got one mega one like that. I think they're from the late 1950s, 1960s. These have got dates on them. I've got 2 white ones here. It says on them 750 volts DC it was, you see. There's direct current on the underground. They did then. 1967. It's got printed on that fuse. 1967. And that's 750 volts DC, 50 amps. Oh, you can see that when I've got it in line with the lens there. And I've also, because I'm so sad, I've also got little ones, one little dainty fuse from the London Underground. Now this was used for the lighting. 5 amps, volts, 250. That was used for the lighting in the passenger cab, passenger and the cab. Well, for the passenger area really. They won't have lights as such in the driver's cab because it needs to be able to see what's in front of him in the tunnels. Not that there'll be anything in the tunnels like, but it's a bit like when you're driving a car. You don't have the light on. You're not supposed to have the light on at night when you're driving the car, otherwise it depreciates your vision looking out into the dark. If you're driving in the dark, you've got to be in the dark, if you know what I mean. The only lights that you should have are the ones on the controls. Now, just to give you some idea, some sort of perspective of just how how big these fuses are. I took the fuse out of a standard domestic shaving socket. I took the fuse out of there, and I'm just going to put it next to the smallest underground fuse that I've got off eBay. And look, that's in comparison. There's your domestic one, there's your underground one. Now that's the smallest underground one used for the lighting. If I put it next to one of the 750 volt 50 amp white ones, which is another underground fuse, you see how big in comparison? You see that? You don't want to see it next to the biggest one. Just like almost like a pinprick. Look, look at that. Look at that. It's barely the length of the brass holder on the end that it clips onto. Look at that. That is amazing, isn't it? So that just gives you some idea as to just how big these. When you could tell, that is almost the length of my hand. And this one is the length of my hand. That one is the length of my hand. Look. Anyway, enough about boring old London Underground fuses from the late 1950s, early 60s. I'll bore you even more now and ask you what you think this is. It's heavy. It's made of brass. It's very heavy. Solid brass. It's got a large square hole in the middle, as you can see. It goes all the way through, and it's got a little groove here, so it obviously fits onto something like that, and it's used to as a leverage for something, isn't it? It's from the 1950s. Do you know what it is? London Underground trains. Ha ha! It's an old brake handle. It's a motorman's brake handle. They call them motorman. Not train driver, motorman. And he used this to put on the spindle in his cab and use it to apply the air brakes to the train. That's what it is, and it's genuine. It's from the late 1950s. I think it's 1956, 1957, 1957, is it? And it's one that's been used, and it's very heavy. How many people in the country do you think have one of those? Only me. Tickets. And guess what? Yesterday, London Underground again. London Underground. Now this is a very special one that's been mounted on a piece of nice card behind some clear cellophane there. Now it's special. I'll tell you why it's special. Because one of them is dated the 31st of December 99, which is the last day of the last century. The phone's going, but I'm just going to ignore it. I'll ring 1471 afterwards. And the other ticket below it is dated the 2nd of January. Now the first one was purchased on the 31st of December 99, and the expiry date was the 1st of January. That's the one on the top, the blue one. And the one underneath, the phone stopped. It's probably some stupid one of those. I've been getting a lot of them lately. Those survey things, those automated survey things, either to do with getting money back for some payment protection that you've been missold, or some accident claim thing, or energy survey, sniffing around seeing what company you buy your energy from. I've had loads of them. I get them every day. So sick of them. Soon be able to tell that when you ring them back, they've withheld the number. Yeah, so those are my underground tickets. The second one, did I say, is dated the 2nd of January, 00 year. So that's something of interest. And I've also got just a handful, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually, 5 old London Underground passenger tickets, which are very interesting. They might not look it, they're just scratty old bits of card with worn out print on them. But I'll tell you for why. Because they're very old. Not quite as old as me, so don't look at me like that. I am old, but not this old. One of them, I'll tell you which the oldest one I've got is 19... this one. That one. How old? Now, I probably won't be able to show you because the date's worn out. It's actually printed on there. I can make it out. I can make it out. It says 5th of May 1923. Well, it doesn't say 19, it just says 23, which is 1923. And it's got 3D fare on it and third class. They used to have third class travel in them days. And that says the London Electric Railway Company, Holborn, one single. That's the oldest one I've got. So that's 1923. I've also got one here dated 1923. I've got two here dated 1934. One of them says the 20th of February 1934, and the other one says the 14th of March 1934. I don't know whether you can sort of make those dates out. They've both got the old denomination currency on them as well, 1.5D. That's at a time when there used to be 240 pennies in the pound, as opposed to 100 that there is now. 1.5D, London Passenger Transport Board. Yeah, they've both got third class on them again. Aldgate to Moorgate, Mansion Street and intermediate stations. Great Portland Street, King's Cross, St Pancras, Baker Street, Marylebone and intermediate stations. 1.5D. There used to be 240 of those in a pound. Not many of you will probably remember, but the pennies used to be like this big, bigger than 50p pieces. And the others are dated, I've got a couple of others, they're dated 1936 and 1934. Yeah, I've got two dated 1930. Have I just shown you those? I've just shown you those, haven't I? Yeah. 1936. Again, third class. They've got third class. London Transport Passenger Board. 29th of January 1936. And this one, oh, that's expensive. It's gone up. 2D. 2D. Third class. Baker Street. And all these stations, Notting Hill, Royal Oak, Leicester Square, Green Park, Camden Town, Holborn, Kingsway, Marble Arch, Trafalgar Square, Swiss Cottage and intermediate stations. They won't last 2 seconds if I left them at the cabinet. They'll be in the dog's tummy. But when I cleaned up its number 2 in the backyard, I found little bits of ripped up little bits of cardboard with small print on it. So keep them in the cabinet. I've shown you the fuses, I've shown you the underground train handle, I've shown you the trains, the tickets, and guess what's coming next? It's a black and white genuine photograph of another underground train. Look at that, that's genuine, that. That's an old train. Amersham it says on it. I can't remember the year. It's old. It's an old one. There's no date printed on it. But I got that from eBay. That's another item I got off eBay. Likewise, the tickets and the fuses and the brake handle that I showed you earlier on, the big brass brake handle. Ah, I nearly forgot this. Now this is an unusual thing to acquire. A questions and answers guide to train operation, presented with the compliments of Jim McGuade. This was a little stuff manual leaflet printed by the Union, and there's a picture of Jim McGuade there. Motorman, that's train driver, Kennington. Just open the front cover and there's a picture of the fella. That's Jim McGuade. You see at the bottom, I don't know whether you can see it says Motorman Kennington. Don't know whether it's picking that up, but yeah, that's the official NUR candidate, and it's just got various points. It's just a little book with questions in red and answers in black, basically. Don't know whether can you see? You won't be able to read it from there, but I'll just pick a couple of points out for you. If we go to number 23, for example, it says, it's got the question in red here, why must a guard open his door before opening the passenger doors? I just thought it was a bit obvious really, but there again, some people might not know. The answers, there's three answers. The guard opens his door first to ensure, 1, that the platform is on the correct side. I've never been on a train where the doors have opened on the wrong side and it's just a sheer drop onto the track, but I suppose it's happened. Number 2, that the train is fully in the platform. In other words, that you haven't got one carriage sort of stuck away from the, say that's the platform, say you've got half a carriage stuck out away from the end of the platform. That's what that means. It's got to be fully in line with the platform, so that wherever you get off along the train, you step onto the platform and not fall onto the track. Number 3, that it is safe to open passenger doors, so the guard door opens his door first and has a quick sort of glance out both ways to make sure everything's nicely in line and that passengers can get off without injuring themselves. If we just turn the page and say go to, I mean some of it's a bit technical that you would only understand if you were a motorman or a member of the London Underground staff. Say question 26, it says, what is the purpose of the master controller? And the answer is, the master controller allows the motorman to control the current to the traction motors. That's the current through the rails, that the electricity. If you go on to question 27, it just goes on to say, what is traction current used for? There's 4 answers. To drive the traction motors, number 2, to drive the motor generators, number 3, to drive the compressors, and number 4, for the train heaters, to make the passengers nice and warm in cold weather. So there you have it, little question and answer book. It actually goes up to 36, question 36, and there's a little space at the end for you to write notes, telephone numbers and little notes there. It's a very little book. London Transport Rail Union, Workers of NUR, the National Union of Railwaymen. Now I got that from somebody that retired years ago, used to work on the London Underground, and these are just some bits and pieces that he rummaged when having a clear out. I think I got the fuses off him as well. I didn't get the photograph off him, I know that. I got that from some other seller. Now, what should we go on to next? Well, I'll show you these next. Do you like Doctor Who? I do, I love it. I've always loved it. Yes, I remember the days of Patrick Troughton. Not so much William Hartnell, but it was Patrick Troughton when I started watching it as a little kid. Well, look what I found on eBay. These handful of Doctor Who DVDs, taking you through various episodes, going back in time. I mean, that one's got William Hartnell on it, Day of the Armageddon. That's William Hartnell. This one, I haven't got them in order actually. That one's got Christopher Eccleston in it. I love Christopher Eccleston, he's one of the best Doctors. Rose, episode 1. Now I don't know whether you noticed, but they're actually from the Sun. These were free in the Sun newspaper some time back. This one's starring John Pertwee, I remember him well. Spearhead from Space. This one's got Peter Davidson in it, Earthshock. Tom Baker, The Robots of Death. Like I say, I haven't put them in order. So I'm jumping forwards and backwards from year to year here. This is the fella that was playing the Doctor when I first started getting into it, when I was about six or seven or something. The faceless ones, Patrick Troughton. Yeah, so I picked them up off somebody that was selling them on eBay. And yeah, I've shown you that photo. Ah, yeah. Now this is the one that I featured on my Facebook page today. It's a photograph of a little boy. It's a genuine photograph printed on a postcard. I'll just show you him closer up. Can you see him? Now that's how they used to dress back in the early 1900s, and I'll tell you exactly what year it's from. It goes back to the year, it's got it written on the back in pencil. I'm surprised it's still very readable. September the 19th, 1935. Whether you can sort of see that. It's actually got his name on it as well. Ian William Dawson, aged 3 years. There he is, there's a little fella. That's how little boys used to dress back in the earlier part of the last century, and it is a postcard. You see, you can have your children printed onto postcards and whatnot. Now, this is a real gem. We're going on to something totally different here. A bit related to the channel name, Brownie Five's channel. Brownie Annual. The Brownie Annual. Now, I got this one off eBay, and it cost me something stupid like £1.99. And although it's a bit tatty at the ends, that's nothing. It's to be expected of its age. It's in fairly good condition. The pages are all bound and intact. And if we look onto this page here, it's got the date 1967. 1967. It does say 1967, and we flip through it quickly, and we got old black and white photographs here, because this is how they used to do them back in those days. Black and white photographs, and I think there's some more somewhere along. Ah, yeah. There we are. Pets of the Cavemen. Look at those alligators. Yeah, you see, it's in good condition as this book. No, it's got lots of stories in between the photographs, lots of comics and stories and what have you. And it's in for its age, it's in a really good condition. Yeah, I'm well pleased with that, and that's the back of it. We've got what, 1, 2, 3. We've got five brownies with an elephant there. And I'll tell you why I'm particularly pleased with this, because I know the listing price of it. You look that up. If you look that up, what the listing price for that book, the Brownie Annual 1967, is, it's actually £45. Yeah, £45. I mean, I know it's a bit worn on the ends, but £1.99. I think they didn't know what they were doing, to be honest, when they priced that one up. I've seen others on eBay in similar condition, and they were asking £20 odd for them. That's a later one that I got off eBay. That's still worth something. It's not quite as old as that one. It's not far off. What did I say that other one was? 1967. Well, this is 1970. That's 1970, that one. So it's only like 3 years later. And I think the list price for this is about £30. 1970, and again it's got similar sort of. I don't believe it. There's some brownies in there. Oh, and scouts with trains. Look, you see, sitting on a train there. Scout boys on the train, and the brownies. Yeah. There's the brownie sitting on the train there. Can you see that top one? Yeah, and it's got some more pictures further along. of various activities. But they're all black and white photographs because, like I say, that's how they used to print them those days. But yeah, that's the back of it with a bulldog. 3 brownies with a bulldog. Oh, the brownie on that side looks a bit fierce as well, doesn't she? Oh, quaint. To be honest, I think I personally feel that they used to produce books a lot nicer than what they do now. I mean, they're just thin things now with just nothing but absolute rubbish in them. I mean, you're lucky to get any photographs in them now, and they're all like comic rubbish. They used to produce books a lot nicer back in those days, as far as I'm concerned, than what they do now. Now, I'll just show you this. This is something I got from a charity shop. I got this from a charity shop in Wetherby some time ago, about 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, it's a nice. I don't think it's not porcelain. It's just pot. Is it porcelain? Oh. It's got a very really hollowy sound to it. Yeah, I acquired that from a charity shop in Wetherby, which depicts a Victorian lady or Elizabethan with a young child there. She's sitting on a chair, the mother, and the daughter standing up. It's a lovely ornament. I checked it for chips and things because you often find that when you pick something like this up in a charity shop, and you study it really carefully, there's some little chunk missing out of it somewhere, but not this one. I think I paid about £3.99 for that. That was £3.99. So that's on my cabinet in the other room, in the living room. And I think this is the last item I've got. Yeah. I'm showing you this because this is a lovely glass black painted elephant. How handmade, and isn't it beautiful? An Indian elephant, all nicely hand painted, and can you see all the little gold colours and the whites and the reds, and isn't she beautiful? Do you know they say that elephants are the most intelligent animal after human beings on this planet. They say that elephants are they the most intelligent or the most stupid? I can't remember. They're either the most intelligent or they're the most stupid. I can't remember now. Am I right in saying that? I don't know. I've never met one. I've never actually been up to an elephant, but yeah, I think they're the most intelligent, to be honest. Even though they've got pea brains, I think because of the sheer size of them, they've still got fairly big brains. I'm pretty sure they're the most intelligent animal on the planet after the human beings. I'd love to meet a real elephant, you know, because I'm sure they've all got character. Right then, folks, where is it? I've got some toast here. Give myself some toast a little bit earlier. I had a chance to eat it, and a nice cup of coffee, which is nice, but it's gone a little cold. I'm going to have to bob that in the microwave in a minute, just to top up the heat. Before I go, I've got jam on this. You will never guess in a million years what jam that is. Not in a million years. I haven't tried it yet. I've got the jar here, and I can tell you, here and now, it says on this jar, Bromley's tomato and chilli jam. How about that? Tomato and chilli jam. Can you see that? Bromley's tomato and chilli jam. And I got that from Asda. So, sounds disgusting, but we'll soon find out. That is so, beautiful. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's lovely. Do you know it's not hot one bit? It doesn't taste of chilli. There's a little tiny bit of hint of some spiciness in there, but you can't tell it's chilli. And it's full of tomatoey sweetness and really fruity. So watch out for that next time you go to Asda. Bromley's tomato and chilli jam, and that's a little 200-gram jar. I think it cost me about £2.50 or something. I just got it out of curiosity to see what it tasted like. And I've got some pickled onion marmalade in the cupboard. I've already tried that. That's nice as well. Pickled onion marmalade. I think it's made by the same company. No, that's nice. This is lovely. That really is nice. Oh, I could eat this till it came out my ears. Oh yeah. Anyway, you have a nice week. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the sunshine when you get it, and I shall see you guys later. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate.